We are no longer going to be using this basket underscore small underscore refresh.php, so we can simply delete this file and then open the PayPal.php file. Now, just to tell you actually why we're not going to be using the file which we've just removed is because now, up to now, what we've been doing, we made one Ajax call basically to, let's say, remove file from the basket, and then another one right after to refresh the baskets, quantities, and so on. Now, in a few videos, basically, we're going to start working on our JavaScript files, and we're going to change this functionality. We basically are going to do everything with one call rather than making two Ajax calls. And this is why we're actually creating these arrays with replacement values, so that rather than later on making another call via Ajax, we outputting all these values ready with the first Ajax call basically. But you'll see later on basically how it works. Now, inside of the PayPal.php file, first let's remove this require once, and we're going to use, first of all, exception. Then we're going to use SSD session. Then we're going to use SSD form. We're going to use SSD login. We're going to use actually quite a few different classes here. Then we're going to use SSD user. Then we're going to use SSD order. Then we're going to use SSD basket. We're also going to use SSD catalog. We're going to use PayPal as well, SSD PayPal. Then we're going to use SSD country, and we're going to use finally the last item, SSD helper. So as you can see, quite a few different classes that are actually taking part of this in this PayPal.php file. One thing that we can do now, because all of these files inside of the MOD folder are basically going through this MOD file inside of the pages. If we scroll down here, obviously the file which we've created earlier. And this file, if I open this, you can see it's already wrapped with a try, and at the bottom obviously catch statement, which is catching all the exceptions which may happen in any of these files. So we don't have to necessarily do another try and catch within any of these files inside of the MOD folder. So what we're going to do is remove this try and catch. So I'm just going to remove this try and scroll down and remove this catch here as well, and then indent, remove the indent for all these lines. And once all this is done, we can proceed actually and amend our code. First of all, this login here, removing this underscore from the login front property. And if we scroll a little bit lower and rename these properties here, obviously here object PayPal has now tax card rather than underscore, and the same for the underscore shipping. We're removing this underscore. Object basket rather than underscore final VAT, it's just final VAT. Same for object basket, final shipping cost, so we're removing this underscore. Then object PayPal populate is also without the underscore anymore. So that's everything in this file. We can save and close it.